The day my daughter was in a car accident, my wife covered up the crime for her first love. She threatened me, demanding I kneel and apologize to him, where she would pull the plug on our daughter's life support after my daughter died because of her. My wife thought I was joking. She said to me with disgust, "The doctor is there. How could she possibly die?" It wasn't until her first love knocked over our daughter's urn that she panicked and clung to me, begging for another chance. The child's life has been saved, but it's highly likely she'll be in a vegetative state. You need to be prepared for that. Her brain was already underdeveloped, and this serious car accident has caused further damage. We can't rule out brain death. When I heard the doctor's words, my head exploded. Everything went black and I almost collapsed. Vegetative state and brain death are two different things. The doctor was being gentle, but his pitying expression told me everything was left to fate, pale and distraught. I went to pay the small medical bill, only to discover that Ellie Dew had maxed out all my cards. I didn't have a single penny. My face flushed red. I called Le Duel a dozen times, but she didn't answer. I had no choice but to go home to get the emergency funds from the safe. When I got home, I walked in to find Le Duel tenderly helping her first love song, Chinga, with his shirt. Ching has seemed to have been in some kind of accident. His leg was in a cast, and he was lying comfortably on my sofa. When Le Duel saw me, the tenderness in her expression instantly vanished as she continued to help Song Chinga clean his upper body. My temples throbbed. I yelled, "Why didn't you answer my calls? What's the meaning of bringing him home, flaunting your affair in front of me? Do you even remember whose name is on the marriage certificate?" Le Duel wasn't the least bit ashamed. Instead, she moved closer to Sonan Chinga. "Chinga had an accident on the road. What's wrong with me helping him as a friend? Why are you so angry?" "Angry?" Before I could speak, as Chinga patted Ledue's hand, a gesture so familiar, it was as if they were the married couple. I angrily interrupted him. "I had a little accident if it weren't for Lile helping me." "I'm afraid, did I give you permission to speak? Can't you see? This is between my wife and me. Why are you an outsider butting in?" "I'm not going to argue with you now. Shia Shah is in the hospital after a car accident and needs surgery. Where did you transfer all the money from my cards?" My voice was out of control, startlingly dual. She guiltily looked away, and I suddenly noticed the safe had been taken out. I rushed over, my pupils trembling. It was empty. Everything of value was gone. "Where's the money? Did you steal it?" "Zhang Baiyu, watch your mouth. This is our marital property. Chinga is seriously injured. Can I use it for emergencies? I can't get the money together in such a short time." Le Duel knew she couldn't hide it anymore and decided to confront me directly. I grabbed her collar and growled, "What about my daughter? I'm your husband. We are your family. You give all the money to an outsider and you haven't even thought about what will happen to our daughter's life." Le Duel nodded knowingly when Shia Shah was mentioned. Disgust filled her eyes. "Why are you yelling? She's not even your biological daughter. Why are you so anxious?" I picked up, "Dead is dead. It's a relief for me. I don't have to share the inheritance with her." I slapped Lee Duel hard across the face, leaving a red mark. Her lips trembled and she didn't speak for a long time. "You hit me." Her voice quivered as if she hadn't expected me to actually hit her. Even Song Chinga quickly pushed his wheelchair in front of her. "I knew you were emotionally unstable. Lile has done so much for this family, and you actually abused her son." Chinga was pushing my buttons. I cursed under my breath and kicked his wheelchair over. He flew out and I heard the crack bone again. Gasped in pain, La's face instantly turned white. She helped Song Chinga up, her eyes filled with distress and tears. "Are you crazy? Young Shia Shah is a jinx, isn't it?" Their fault she died as we were at a standstill. The hospital called with an urgent update. Sia's condition was critical, but I still had a large sum of money to pay. "Shia is in trouble now. If you don't give me the money, I'll sell the house tomorrow," after saying that I pushed her away and rushed to the hospital. Sia's condition was even more critical this time, and the hospital issued 3 critical condition notices, even if I called the police now. It would take time to find the hidden run driver. I borrowed almost all the money I could and even put my house up for sale. During this period, no matter how I tried to contact Ledoux to get her to return the money, she played dead the entire time. She's covered in injuries. It wasn't me. I can't take this case. I'll never be able to clear my name to take care of Shia Shah. I specifically hired a female caregiver to help clean her body, but soon after the caregiver ran out in a panic, trying desperately to prove something to me, my heart skipped a beat, and I rushed into the ward in a panic. Zia's arm was exposed, covered in bruises, and even her back had been scalded with boiling water. When did this happen? I was breathing rapidly, and for a moment I couldn't catch my breath. I felt completely lost. Zia's brain is underdeveloped, and her mental age is only 2 or 3 years old. She is usually unable to take care of herself. When I married Ledoux, she had also vowed to me, "You just focus on working and earning money outside and leave Shia to me." I'm not often at home. More often I'm away on business trips, and I send money to Ledoux every month, and Shia Shah has always been with her. Besides her, no one else would hurt Shia Shah. Don't worry, I've prepared everything for the money. You don't have to worry about your medical expenses. A familiar voice reached my ears with a pent-up anger in my heart. I pushed open the W door and came face to face with Ledoux. Ledoux was pushing her first love's Chinga, and they were talking and laughing. The corners of her mouth, which had been curved in, a smile instantly stiffened when she saw me, and Sun Chinga also looked away when he saw me. I also saw that the plaster cast on his leg was thick. Jay Bayou, I won't hold it against you for pushing me, but Lele is a woman who has sacrificed so much for her family, and you still turned out to be a wife-beater. Chinga raised his voice a few notches when he said this, as if he wanted everyone to know. Chinga was still the same green tea, and Ledoux, all hearing him care about her so much, hugged him with slightly red eyes, feeling touched. What are you, lonely? Do you have to get involved with your married ex and be a kept man, even having your ex pay for your medical expenses? Ching's face instantly darkened, and Ledoux stomped her foot in anger. She suddenly glanced at the ward behind me and sneered, "Zhang, X-A Shah is in the ward inside, right? You better watch your mouth. Be careful of karma. Let your precious darling go straight to the afterlife." Ledoux's words were extremely vicious, and I clenched my lips, trembling with anger. The thought of Shia Shah being abused by Lo made me want to make her kneel in front of Zia Shah and kowtow. An apology right now. I grabbed her wrist and pulled her into Zia's ward. "What are you doing? Are you crazy?" I used a lot of force, and I could hear the cracking of bones as I gripped her wrist with a forceful swing. Ledoux knelt directly beside Zia's bed. She was in so much pain that her face contorted, but she still glared at me with venomous eyes. "The injuries on Zia's body. You did them right. I was terrifying." Calm. Ledoux's eyes darted to Shia Shah, who was covered in injuries, but she just shrugged nonchalantly. "I was just teaching her a lesson. It's hard for me to take care of a mentally handicapped child." "Okay. She doesn't listen to me, so I have to hit her. I'll report you to the police for abusing Shia Shah. Now give me back all the money you've taken from me." "Zhang Bayou, as a man, it's only natural to spend money on a woman. Do you even have the nerve to ask for the money back? Lele is right. You will have your own children in the future. You are so partial to Shia Shah now, who knows how you will bully them and their mother." Then he pushed his wheelchair into the ward and closed the door. I sprang up, walked to him, and kicked his injured leg with all my might. He let out a howl, breaking out in a cold sweat, his face ashing. Lo was heartbroken to see Song Chinga being beaten by me again. She went crazy, grabbing my hair and pushing me hard into the corner. My head hit the wall hard, and I instantly felt dizzy. "You love this little bastard so much, do you? Then I'll let her die now." Ledoux's face was jingling, and she reached out to pull off Zia's oxygen. Tube, I cried out in terror. Don't leave! Duel saw my reaction and seemed to see something interesting. She stopped and sneered. What are you, heartbroken already? What? Family, I'm your wife. This is just a little bastard. You kneel down now and cow. Tell to Chinga to apologize and I'll let this little bastard go. I wanted to press the call button, but Le Duel gave me a warning look as if she would pull out the oxygen tube if I made any move. Le Duel. What exactly do you want? Shia Shah is just a child. She doesn't understand anything. Just for song Chinga do. You have to go this far with me. Lo's face became even more gloomy, and she looked at me coldly. I've had enough of you don't think I don't know. You married me just to have a free nanny to take care of this bastard. I won't let you have your way. Everyone looks down on me. Only Chingao is different. I really regret marrying you. I didn't get a single bit of care, and I had to be a free nanny. Forget it, Lele. I'm fine. Don't do anything foolish after all. She's still a child. Chinga struggled to get up from the ground. Although he was comfortingly Du's emotions, his eyes were full of anticipation, wishing she would pull out the oxygen tube right now. Sure enough, these words fell on Ledu's ears, making her feel that song Chingo was too. Wrong, will you kneel or not? My eyes were bloodshot and the fist shanging by my sides clenched tightly. Shia Shah and I were both orphans. I thought I would have a happy family, but Le Duel treated Shah Shah this way for the sake of her first love. I pursed my lips tightly, looking at Song Chinho with humiliation. Liel was a madwoman, and I was afraid she would really do something to Shia Shah with a thud. I knelt heavily on the ground, seeing my embarrassment soning his smile, almost reached. The sun. Are you satisfied now? Get out of Zia's ward. But at this moment, Lu raised a malicious smile and pulled out Zia's oxygen tube. You should learn a lesson. Otherwise, you only have eyes for this little bastard soon. Shia Shah was convulsing all over, and the instruments beside her were beeping. Non-stop. My face turned pale, and I stumbled over, desperately pressing the call button on the wall. I kicked Le Duel down, snatched the oxygen tube from her hand, and tried to put it back, but I didn't know how the instrument emitted a sharp alarm, and the doctor and several nurses rushed in. The scene was chaotic, and I stood stunned in the corner. Only then did I realize that L.E. Duel and S. Shinga had disappeared by the time I got home. It was already evening, and Lee Duel had turned on all the lights. I was exhausted, hunched over with dark circles under my eyes, signed a divorce agreement. I threw the divorce agreement on the table. Why are you so petty? I was planning to apologize. To you today, you can't divorce me just because of my unintentional act, can you? Le Duel didn't even look at the divorce agreement on the table and was still admiring her newly bought bag in front of the mirror. The bag I saw last time was pretty. Good, remember to bring me another one when you come back from your next business trip. I suddenly threw the cup over and the mirror was violently smashed. Lu was startled. Then her face changed and she turned around and slapped me. Are you crazy? Sign it, and then get out of this house. She seemed a little confused. Even if I had quarreled with her before, I would never mention divorce. Lee's eyes renned and she grabbed my collar and roared, Do you have a heart? I've been married to you for so long, and you still favor that jinx. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have had a miscarriage. Why didn't you care about me? Then there's so many doctors and nurses in the hospital. Are they all useless? It's just pulling out the oxygen tube. For a while, and now you want a divorce. You Le Duel realized that no matter how much she vented, I didn't coax her like before. I just had a wooden face, and I was completely lost. She noticed that I was still holding a piece of paper in my hand, and her face darkened as she snatched it. I knew it was a medical bill. That little bastard can't do anything but spend money. But soon Le Duel couldn't speak. The paper clearly stated death certificate. She was silent for a while, then nodded knowingly, muttering to herself, Okay, keep acting? See how I expose you? Although Le Duel was shouting, she paced anxiously and quickly called the hospital, her voice trembling slightly. Hello, please check room 303. The voice on the other end of the phone was a Little puzzled wasn't the patient in room 303 declared dead to the family today. Leduel frowned and sneered, then immediately hung up the phone. She clutched the death certificate, tightly trembling with anger. Now, you can even lie to me with this kind of thing. Do you think I'll believe it? There's so many doctors and nurses in the hospital. Are they all useless? Cardiac arrest can be saved, but she's going to die just because of a lack of oxygen for a while. I know you must be trying to make me divorce you, so that all the property will go to Jiang Shasha. You're just treating me like a nanny. I rubbed my temples. Ledue's voice was too noisy. She had always been selfish. Even my friends were shocked that I could tolerate her temper for so long, thinking of Xia Xia still lying in the cold morgue. My nose twitched and tears were about to fall. My hatred for Ledue grew even stronger. Go ahead and make a scene. After you're done, sign a divorce agreement. I won't give you a penny and I'm going to sue you for intentional homicide. Do you think there are no surveillance cameras in the ward? Hearing the word divorce again, Liul calmed down and P-lips Jiang Baiyu. I can apologize to you for this matter, but it's clearly you who went too far. Qing's foot has gotten much worse because of you. The doctor said that if he doesn't recuperate well, he might even become paralyzed. You've heard him so many times, you should take the initiative to pay for his medical expenses instead of making a fuss about divorce here. I seem to have misheard looking at Ledue and shocked my daughter Shasha died because of her actions. And now she's blaming me, and don't show me any fake certificates. You might as well give me all the money you have for forging. This I'm your wife. Why always elbowing out saying that she tore that death notice to pieces flung? The fragments into my face, I felt a surge of helplessness and the cigarette between my fingers trembled. Leal wasn't like this before after I met. I was attracted by her gentleness. Xia Xia also liked her very much. I pursued her for a long time, but she always refused. Later I learned that she still had her first love, Eschinga, in her heart. It wasn't until Eschinga got married abroad that Ellie Duel agreed to my proposal. Everything should have been beautiful. But Eschinga got divorced and came back from abroad, and Ledue changed completely. Later she had an accidental miscarriage and became even more irritable. She quarreled with me more than once, asking me to kick Shia out of the house. She's not your real daughter. This jinx killed my child. Why do you still side with her? I just thought she was in pain from losing her child, and I did everything I could to compensate. I gave her whatever she wanted. I even turned a blind eye to her secretly contacting Singa. But now I know that everything I did was wrong. Zia's body was covered in scars, old and new, a testament to the long-term abuse she had endured. Du vented all her resentment on her years of compensation, still couldn't change anything. I took a deep drag of my cigarette, choking until tears streamed down my face. It was my constant tolerance that had harmed Xia. Not many people attended Zia's funeral. It was mostly just a few kind aunties from the neighborhood. They all knew that Leal had been beating the child, but they felt it wasn't their place to interfere in other people's family matters. Xia Jiang, don't be too sad. Xia is at peace now. When you weren't around, that crazy woman of yours never held back. The neighbor Annie comforted me, wiping her own tears and repeatedly saying what a good child Xia Xia was. Jiang Baiyu, do you even want to live a normal life anymore? Li Duel stormed in, her face filled with rage, followed by song, Qinga. I hadn't seen Sun Qinga for a while, and he was already able to walk, proving that the story about his serious injuries was also false. How dare you sell the house without my permission, Lei? Let's go back. You can live with me now that the house is sold. Why be father living a hard life with Jiang Baiyu? Sun Qinga held Ledue's hand, his face full of heartache. He looked at me with a cold expression. Jiang Baiyu, if you don't love her, don't keep bullying her. Lei is also a woman. You sold the house just like that. Where is she supposed to live? I was filled with anger at the sight of them. But this was still Xia's funeral after all. Ledue, I told you we're getting A divorce. I bought the house. I can do whatever I want with it. Don't forget you still haven't paid back the hundreds of thousands you stole from me. Ledoux's eyes were red with anger. She looked around, tore the reeds to shreds, and smashed everything she could find. What the hell is wrong with you? My face was dark with anger, and I slapped Ledouel across the face. She covered her face, tears streaming down as she sneered when our child died. Why didn't you give him a funeral now just to fight? With me to throw a tantrum, you're holding a fake funeral to fool me. Whenever this happened, she always threatened me with our dead child, but this time I couldn't tolerate it anymore. I told you the child's death was an accident. The surveillance footage clearly shows it. You were the one who dropped the child. Shia didn't understand anything. Why did you put everything on her? She's dead. You killed her. Do you know that you only have eyes for song? Chinga. Ledoux's face went blank for a moment, and the people attending the funeral looked at her with disdain. She looked at Zia. Zia's portrait suddenly shuddered, and her eyes filled with even more disgust towards me. She cursed and rushed over, constantly grappling with me. Keep acting, I'll smash all of this that you've set up. A sharp crack sounded, and both Ledouel and I quickly turned our heads, my pupils constricted, scattered around songing. His feet was a pile of ashes. He looked a little embarrassed and took a few steps back. I didn't mean to. I thought this was fake, too. I roared and pushed Sun Chinga to the ground. Sun Qing's face was still pale. Ledoux was already frozen in fear, seeing the ashes. On the ground, she finally believed that Shia Shah was really dead. I carefully cradled the ashes, but the tears couldn't stop falling. I was an orphan, and Shia was a child I adopted for a long time. We depended on each other. Not only could I not protect her, but even her funeral was disrupted. Husband, I didn't know. I thought you were lying to me. Lu was at a loss, but she firmly held Song Qing's hand as if afraid I would go crazy and beat him up again. She softened her voice constantly, comforting me and apologizing. I was wrong. Husband, Shia Shah died in a car accident, right? I didn't kill her. I turned my head sharply and glared at Lei. She swallowed hard, completely losing the arrogant demeanor she had when she arrived in the end. She was just afraid of being held accountable for a life. The people who came to the funeral had long been scared. Away by Ledouel, Chinga was already scared of me. He was just a coward who hid behind women. Zhang Bashu, I didn't mean to, and she's already dead. He shrank his neck, and before he could finish, I punched him to the ground. I even knocked out his teeth. Ledouel desperately protected Song Chinga, and my fist landed mercilessly on her body. She wiped her tears and shouted, "Stop hitting us! We really didn't know Shia Shah was dead. I thought you were deliberately scaring me. I'll do anything you want. I won't argue with you anymore. I can compensate you." My eyes were red, and my clenched fists trembled. What can you give back? Shia Shah was abused by you, and you were the one who pulled out the oxygen tube. Did you really think there were no cameras in the hospital room after marrying you? I fulfilled all your wishes just because Shia Shah wasn't your biological daughter. You treated her like this. Shia Shah still had a chance to live. You're a murderer. My calm narration made Ledouel collapse to the ground. She was terrified by my appearance, desperately grabbing my sleeve and snatching my phone. I'll do anything you want as long as you don't call the police, please. I've worked hard to take care of Shia Shah. These years don't call the police. I don't want to go to jail. I was filled with a pin-up anger that I couldn't vent. I sneered and pointed at Chinga, who was covered in blood from my beating, make him kneel down, and I apologized to Shia Shah. And you sign the divorce agreement and leave with nothing. Ledouel had originally vowed to make amends for everything, but now she wore a bitter expression. She didn't want to divorce me because she coveted my assets at the same time. She couldn't bear to see Song Chinga suffer. Chinga is a highly educated intellectual. Making him kneel and admit his mistakes is trampling on his dignity. I interrupted her, pointing to the door. Get out, don't defile Xia's path to reincarnation. Just as Ledoux was still hesitating, Chinga grasped her hand, his voice barely a whisper. Lele, I feel like Zhang Baiyu is going to beat me to death. He's beaten me half too. Death? He's vented enough. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have come back to find you. Le Duelle instantly shifted her gaze to him, her previously dejected demeanor now tinged with spirit. She helped Song Ching Ho up, her voice soft. It's okay. I'll take you to the hospital first. I watched their tightly clasped hands, my heart numb. Le Duelle didn't say anything more and left with S. Chinga in her eyes. S. Chinga was more important than her own life. I wiped my face. Xia Sha in her portrait still wore an innocent smile. She would never again hold my arm and, stammering, call me Dad. Since the funeral, Le Duelle hadn't contacted me for a week. I sold the house, so she had nowhere to go. The only possibility was that she was with S. Chinga, the investigation, into Zia. Zia's car accident had dragged on for too long with no news. This made me go to the police station. The police officer seemed surprised to see me, as if wondering why I was there when I inquired about the accident results. The officer's expression changed slightly. There were no surveillance cameras on the road. Where the accident occurred, it was discovered because someone reported it. Someone was live streaming there at the time and happened to capture the face of the Daler driver, and the license plate number. The police officer handed me the video. Although it was blurry, I recognized it immediately. It was S. Ching H. He had hit Xia Sha and even limped out of the car after the impact to take a look. No wonder his leg was injured. Thinking about the whole thing and how he had the nerve to show up at Zia's funeral, I wanted to kill him right then and there. I clenched my jaw, trembling with rage. I pointed at the person in the video. I know this person. The police officer didn't seem surprised at all and simply put the video away. A few days ago, your wife said that this matter was settled privately, and the party at fault would bear all medical expenses. She said she was the child's mother, and we checked the household registration book, which confirmed it didn't. She tell you my eyes were empty, staring blankly at the police officer. I took a deep breath, feeling a sharp pain in my chest. So Le Duelle had known all along who hit Xia Sha. If I hadn't come to inquire, the matter would have been dropped. I asked the police station for a copy of the surveillance video. I was in a daze. As I walked out, I found Sun Ching his home, but I didn't immediately go in to confront him because I saw Le Du, who had been missing for days, was also there. The two were sitting on the windowsill, passionately kissing, visible to anyone who looked up from the street. I stood downstairs, looked up, and expressionlessly took out my phone to take a picture. After Song Chingo returned from abroad, he joined a well-known company and became an executive director. Since S. Chinga liked someone else's wife, he certainly wouldn't care about other people's opinions. I went to S. Ching's company and made his affair with Le Duelle known to everyone to expose S. Chinga. I also live-streamed online, revealing his hidden run and how he was messing around with my wife. The matter spread rapidly, almost at the same time. I received a private message in my inbox. It was from Ching's original wife. S. Chinga was not divorced at all. They had a 3-year-old son. Singha had only told his wife that his return to the country was a job transfer. I collected all this evidence, printed out the photos I took, and anonymously sent them to every employee in his company. Not only that, but I also went to the hospital and obtained a surveillance video. Li Duel had always been a housewife, short-sighted and very concerned with appearances. The moment she opened her eyes, she would feel like the sky was falling. I couldn't wait to see their current situation. I stood downstairs at S. Ching's house again and heard Le Du's heart-wrenching cries. Didn't you tell me you were divorced? Why did you lie to me? Don't you know how much I've done for you? Who the hell asked you to meddle? Did I ask you to? You were like a leech sticking to me. You have a husband, yet you still seduced me, are you? That desperate Singha tore off his former gentle mask and cursed at Le Du without mercy. Then came the sound of things shattering. Le Du stumbled out of the door, disheveled, and ran into me. Tears hung on her eyelashes, and her mouth was bleeding from a split lip. Laputed A.G. Reevely crying to me. Yang Baiyu, did you do all this? Are you trying? To drive me to my death, did you have to be so ruthless since the incident, as Chinga had been fired from his original company? Now he was unemployed and unlikely to be accepted by any other company? In the short term, I smiled. This is your first love. Your white moonlight for him. You stole all the money for him. You concealed the truth about Zia's accident. Do you really think the police wouldn't be able to find you? LaDuelle trembled, her face filled with fear. She grabbed my sleeve and said, urgently, I really didn't know he was like that. He wasn't like this. Before he told me he was divorced from his ex-wife, he told me he still thought about me. I really didn't know. Song Chinga was such a person. He was not only with me but also flirting. With several other women at the same time, I received threatening messages every day. I had nowhere to go, so I had to live with him, and he beats me every day. Husband, take me away, let's get back together. The divorce papers haven't been signed yet. I'm still your wife. The person I love has always been you seeing her incoherent appearance. I took a few steps back. I frowned in disgust. Lou, I have good news for you. Her dead eyes instantly lit up with hope. I've already obtained the hospital surveillance video, including the copy from the police station. I'll give you the divorce papers. If you don't sign them, we'll go to court. I don't mind pressing charges for both matters. At the same time, I wonder how many years one can get for intentional homicide. LaDue's face turned pale, and she trembled, unable to utter a word. Everything was initially going smoothly. I had gathered all the evidence and found a lawyer for Shia Shah. I would never let Songa go. But on this day, S. Ching's first wife came to me. She was a typical foreigner accompanied by a translator. I was just taken aback by her imposing presence when I opened the doors. Ching's first wife was no pushover, sporting sunglasses and a head of bold, wavy hair, with dozens of bodyguards and black suits behind her. I almost thought I had stumbled upon some kind of triad. Do you know where Singa is now? I snapped out of it and told her the address without hesitation. We live in a society governed by law. Now, isn't that a bit much? I pointed at the bodyguards behind S. Ching's first wife, not because I was worried son Chingo would be beaten to death, but because I was afraid of being implicated. The woman took off her sunglasses and scrutinized me. Don't worry. Do you need me to take care of your wife too? From your WEO posts, your wife was pregnant. Right then. You better think about whether it was Song Ching's bastard child. With that, the woman left with her entourage just 3 days later. Later, my lawyer called me Mr. Zhang about the S. Ching, a case you don't need to sue anymore. My heart skipped a beat and I couldn't help but think of the murderous look on S. Ching's first wife's face after I inquired. The lawyer didn't say much, just sent me a video. The video was from a street surveillance camera. S. Chinga was running frantically with several men in black suits chasing him, but it seemed that he didn't have any serious injuries besides some superficial wounds. However, when crossing at a traffic light, he was running so fast that he didn't notice it was still red. He jumped over the barrier and ran out. He was hit by an oncoming truck and sent flying. More than 10 meters, his brain splattered everywhere. He died. Instantly, the truck driver had insurance, and the incident could only be blamed on Song Chinga, running a red light. No matter how much Song's family cried, it was useless. I saved this somewhat bloody video. When I checked the trending searches, I saw that the incident had already made the list. Knowing about S. Ching's heroic deeds, Nens were all commenting below, saying that karma is a... I gently stroked Zia's small photo. If Zia knew that the villain who hit her had already been punished, would she be happier? Singa escaped, but LaDue did not. She kept resisting and refusing to sign the divorce agreement. She even said to me, Shia really like me if you treat me like this. Shia Shah won't rest in peace even in death. This made me even more determined to sue her. What right did LaDue will have to talk about Shia Shah in front of me. On the day of the court hearing, LaDue had dark circles under her eyes and exuded a sense of she knew about Sun Ching's death and should have been severely warned by his first wife. Why won't you let me go? I already know I was wrong and have been punished. I just want to live a good life with you. You told me that before. You said you were an orphan and you wanted to have a family like me. Why do you have to block all the roads? LaDuelle sobbed with a crying voice as soon as she saw me. I am an orphan, and Shia Shah was also abandoned. She and I should have a happy family, but I was wrong. Shia Shah and I were family. Wally Dul was always an outsider during the negotiation. Lee Dul still wanted to gain my sympathy. She cried with tears streaming down her face, saying, "Jang Bayu, I don't have much time to live. I have cancer. I just want to spend the rest of my days with you without me. You'll be alone. Can we not go to court? I'll cook delicious food for you when we get home." LeDuel kept begging me, and even the judge asked me if I would accept mediation. I just looked at Lo, Du coldly, when she abused Sia Shah and pulled out Sia's oxygen tube. She didn't have this attitude. Then did you let Shia go? She was thrown into a trash can. As soon as she was born, she regarded you as her biological mother. She didn't understand anything. She just had a birth defect, but she didn't do anything bad. I smiled somewhat cruelly. I don't accept mediation. This is not over. LeDuel instantly deflated, and she slumped to the ground. I knew about LeDoux's illness. Her health had been poor. Since the miscarriage some time ago, when I went to the hospital to collect evidence I ran into her, she was squatting at the entrance of the hospital when she saw me. Her eyes turned red. I have cancer. Late stage, uterine cancer. There's no cure. Even. So you won't let me go. Dul still wanted to get money from me for treatment. She still only saw money. Finally, her lawyer, knowing that she had cancer, fought for an opportunity for her cancer. Patients can only be released on bail and cannot be sent to prison. I had to accept this fact. This was not the worst outcome. Even if she didn't go to jail, she would be tortured to death by the disease when leaving the court. Leal called out to me. She wiped her tears. If I can still live, can I come and find you? I want to apologize to Shia Shah. I'm sorry. I disdained to listen to such pale and powerless words. Only 3 months later, LeDuel passed away. Her body was still in the morgue. As her ex-husband, I had nothing to do with her. I scattered Zia Exao. Ashes in the sea, she had asked me before. What is the sea? The end.